Hi everybody, it's Mike at Aeronetics. We're here in beautiful downtown Smyrna, Georgia today, and we're going to, in this video, show you how to install a StreetSounds unit on a streetlight pole. Alright, now we're going to show you all of the parts and pieces of an actual StreetSounds unit. So this is basically the radio with the amplifier built in, 2 of the whip antennas, 3 LEDs on the front, and we'll run through those in a minute. So this is the ramp, the radio amplifier. And then on the back you can see the stainless steel mount. And it consists of actually 3 pieces. This is the portion that gets attached to the pole. There are a couple of notches here for the straps we'll be using to secure it to the pole. And then these flanges are the holders of the speaker mounts. And this particular mount is used for the JBL Control 25 speaker that we'll be installing today. So everything is stainless steel, and there are security bolts at each of the locations that have open access. The third piece is the radio mount. So all of these bolt together, and they can actually be used separately if you just want to mount speakers or just want to mount the radio. So it's a 3-piece system built for rugged outdoor use full-time. So that's the mount and the radio amplifier. The last part of it is the power cord. This is a fully outdoor rated power cord. It's about 8 feet long, and if you've got an AC power plug in your pole, all you have to do is plug this in, wrap it up, tie wrap it, and you're done. You can also hardwire it into the outlet if you'd like to do that. You just need a GFI breaker on that. So this is the radio amplifier, and we'll be mounting it on a streetlight pole here shortly. Okay, what I'm going to do is show you the stainless steel mounts that we use to put the unit on the pole. I have a couple of different sizes here. This one goes up to about 6 1/4, the smaller one. And basically you just use an electric screwdriver drill to open these guys up. This will fit on most 4 to 6 inch poles. Now if you have a tapered pole, you have to kind of play with it and see which one works best. This particular one goes up to 9 3/4 inches. So depending on the type of pole, the size of pole, square, round, fluted or not, you may need 1 or more of these kinds of stainless steel mounts. But I'll show you how we put these on here in just 1 second. Okay, we're going to attach this to the pole now. We've got the 2 hose clamps, metal clamps, stainless steel, inserted through these outer notches. If you can see that, there's actually 2 sets in case the strap is either a little too long or a little too short. So you can pick whichever notch seems to work best for your pole. I'm going to mount it very low just for demonstration purposes, but you would typically mount it up as high as you could get it and still get to it. So the way it works is this guy basically mounts like that, and then you need another pair of hands to get this started, so I'll go ahead and get it started off camera and show you how this works. But basically you need someone to hold it, someone to get this started, and then we'll zap it on with a drill. Alright, so we've got one that's basically securing the unit to the pole. This essentially takes two sets of hands, so one person to hold it while the other person gets this started. Once it's secure like this, here's how they actually go together. So you've got an electric drill, just put it in, make sure it's straight so you don't cross thread it. And then again, this is about a 4-inch pole, so these clamps work well for this size pole. So once you get it sort of tight, you need to decide about how much torque you want to put on it, and go ahead and snug it up nice and tight, and then we'll do the other one. Now I typically tie wrap these down, so you can stick them in here like that, or you can tie wrap them to make them look nicer. But that's essentially just the radio amplifier fully installed. So we'll now put the speakers on and show you how all that's connected. This is the JBL Control 25 1L speaker. It comes with a WeatherMax grill that we've pre-installed, and with the weatherproof cable gland on the back, and a Nutric XLR type weatherproof audio connection. The mounting system is very unique and very convenient actually for this kind of application. It's called IntelliBall, or Invisiball, I'm sorry, and it goes inside of here, and we use a hex wrench to crank down on it. It's very easy to tip in different directions so that you can aim it as well as keep it aimed somewhat down to keep the rain from collecting inside. So the way it works is we basically just put it over the mount like that. This is the mount that we put up a few minutes ago. It goes right in this hole, and there are teeth inside that once you get it on there, you basically tighten down. And the way we like to install these is with about a 5 or 10 degree downward angle, so that if any rain hits it, it doesn't stay inside. So you crank down on that, and the teeth grip that plastic ball, and it's very sturdy once it's up there. This comes with about a 2-foot cord, and what I typically do is wrap this around one time to provide a rain loop. And then the bottom of the radio has the speaker connection. It's XLR, but it's actually a speaker level output. And you push this in until you hear a click. And once you hear that click, it's installed. If you don't hear the click, you need to make sure that it's seated properly. So you push it in, you get a little click, and once it's in, you are ready to turn it on. You need both speakers on before you apply power. But it's, again, a very easy system to install. You get about 25 or 30 degrees of range in either direction from center, so you can move them to the front or the back, and you get about 15-20 degrees of downward slope. So it's a very nice design. If you want to come over here, I want to show you the front. This is the JBL badge. Now, most of the time we don't put that on, just because when you do, people know it's a nice high quality speaker. So a lot of times we'll just leave that off and leave those screws exposed. It's all weatherized, so it doesn't matter. That's the speaker. We'll put the other one on, then we'll apply power. What I want to do now is introduce the antenna extender. We use this if the antennas, when they get mounted, are shadowed by the metal pole. Sometimes if you're putting a radio on a pole and there's a flag holder or a flower basket or something that's in its way, you may have to turn it such that the antenna is getting shadowed by the pole for your upstream signal. So what we've done is we've created the antenna extender. The way it works is you take this guy off, whichever antenna is behind the pole and you want to move him, you put that there, take the other end of this wire, you put it where the antenna was, tighten it up, and then you replace the antenna on the end of the extender. So that's a nice sturdy movement of the antenna, so it's no longer shadowed by the metal pole. Okay, we're going to introduce the master transmitter radio now, show you the connections, the LEDs, and we'll talk about the network management software. We'll do that a little separately, but I did want to show you how the connections work. So this is the master. It looks very similar to the other radio, except for the connectors on the bottom, if you want to come in here closer. I've got this on a temporary mount just to make it easy to put on a speaker pole or a tripod. So this is just a quick attach mount. And this would be a nice portable transmitter unit that you could take out if you had a festival or parade. You could take that outside, or you could mount it indoors. All right, I want to run through the connectors on the bottom of the master transmitter. This is a AC power connector. It's a Nutric PowerCon, and this comes with the indoor version of the master transmitter. There is an outdoor version that only has an RJ45, but this is an AC power connection, comes with the master. This is a Cat5 RJ45 connector that actually runs to what we call a USB extender, and I'll show you that in just a second. This would carry DC power as well as audio and a USB connection for the network management communication with the network. So that's the RJ45. This is an XLR input connector for the main audio. So the way the system works is you inject audio into this point, and this is an audio cable that we provide with the unit. This particular cable has a standard stereo 1/8" connection on it, so you can plug this into your iPhone or any kind of audio source. We typically plug it into the laptop and stream Pandora radio, but this is where the audio goes into the master transmitter. This is actually another XLR. It's an XLR out, and these are just looped together, so you can use that as a loop through should you want to do that. So those are the connections on the bottom. Again, this is a quick attach mount, and the master. The master has 3 LEDs. One is to the top one says power. Once there is AC or DC power, that will turn green. The second one is RF signal. If this is the master, that RF signal will come on when he comes on, when he becomes the master transmitter. And then if you're putting audio into that audio port, this LED will turn green. If it turns red, you're putting too much audio in, it's clipping. So you want to keep that down. A better view of this is within the network management software, which will show you on the laptop. But that's your master transmitter, and again, a quick easy mount on a speaker pole just for temporary setups or taking it outdoors to a festival or a parade. So we mentioned the Cat5, the RJ45 connector, and the Cat5 cable. That's this assembly here, and this is just a standard plain vanilla Cat5 cable. It can be up to 75, maybe 100 feet, depending on the quality of the cable, so that the radio could be mounted somewhere away from your audio source. And the thing that makes that happen is the USB extender, which is this guy. It comes with the master unit. The USB extender has a USB connector that goes to a laptop or a PC, and the 5 volts that's in that connection actually turns this into a 12-volt signal DC power source for the radio. So by virtue of connecting the USB extender to the laptop and then connecting this guy to the master transmitter, we get power. So this LED comes on when we get the DC power. So that's the connection from the master to the laptop. That's how you get DC power. We can also inject audio in there, and the USB connection for the network management goes through that as well. We're going to show you a little bit of the network management software, not in too much detail. It's a little bright out here to see the screen, but just a couple of the functions. When you first turn it on and connect it to the master, and the master is powered, what you should do is check for interference. This works on the 900 megahertz band, 902 to 928, and it's an ISM free, license free band, so anybody can use it. So you need to make sure there's not so much interference that you can't communicate. So the first thing to do, I'll do this in more detail later, is to go to the spectrum analyzer screen. And on the spectrum analyzer screen, if you can get close here, you will see little bouncing red bars, and each of those 10 different bars are the channels that the radio can use, and it will dodge any major interference that it sees. Most of this is fairly low level, and it looks like it's fairly far away. If you get one that's really big in the middle, like a digital sign or something, the radio is smart enough to dodge that interference. But if it's way up here and it's constant, that's going to cause problems, and you probably won't be able to operate in that environment. So the network management software gives you this tool, and it's something you should do the very first thing that when you go deploy it in your network. All right, now we're going to switch to the master mode. Now the radio is actually transmitting. Probably can't see it too well, but the green LED RF signal has come on, and we're transmitting to a couple of radios in this area, one of which is our demo unit. So there's actually 3 here in the fountain area of Smyrna. Plus we put up this demo node, so those pop up on the screen as soon as the master is turned on. You can actually double click on any one of them and bring up a front panel showing his received signal level in real time, whether there's any dropouts in the audio. You have volume control, temperature readouts and things like that. So the network management has a lot of tools, and we'll do a separate video going through the details of that. But I did want to show you that you're able to pull up any radio in the network from this screen and control it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is plug this audio cable into the earphone jack of the laptop with some music playing. So now the master is transmitting, and this unit over here is now receiving and playing the audio, and we'll crank it up a little bit. So what I've done now is I've taken the same audio jack and plugged it into the earphone jack of my smartphone. I'm streaming Pandora radio, so any audio source you want to stream goes right through this into the master and then over to the remote unit.